Hello and welcome to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to share with you things that might stop you from wanting to live here. Every country has their pros and cons, so I'm going to get out on my e-bike and take a bit of footage outside while I give you this probably worthless information, but you should watch it anyways. These underground parking lots actually double up as wartime bunkers. The first problem you'll find is that if you've got a YouTube video on China and you don't say only good or only bad, you get people from both sides of the fence going, "Oh, you can't say that, meh, meh, meh." Bugs. That's just my own personal gripe, shall we say. Moving on. Let's get to the first reason why you might not like to live here. First one is that Western food is pretty expensive. You know how like in the UK and pretty much every other Western country, Chinese food is also expensive and it also tastes nothing like the real thing? Well, the same applies here. Next thing we'll talk about is manners. The concept of personal space in China. Well, people will stand here. It's almost like they want to cuddle you or something, but so to be fair, they don't consider it rude. They don't really think about that, but you might. And to be honest, sometimes they do think it's rude because it is, you know, if somebody's bumping into you and stuff like that, it is quite rude anywhere, I guess, but I don't know. People will often cut in line. You might be seen at a reception desk or some sort of customer interaction, you know, and people will just kind of come in and be like, "Hey, excuse me, sort me out." And then there's my personal favorite, the staring. It is very uncomfortable sometimes. If you're in the wrong sort of mood, people will just stop and stare. And I'm not talking about, you know, having a quick look and then looking away. I'm talking about staring. Let me show you. In fact, learning Chinese is sometimes not a great idea because you'll just hear them say all the time, "Foreigner, foreigner, hey everyone, foreigner." Not really so much of a big deal. But when it's every day, because it is every day, you know, it can grate on you a little bit. I'll also mention the picture taking videos and pictures of you. We're not talking about just taking a video of the general area or a picture and you happen to be there. They will see you take their phone out and start recording you. You, only you, because you're a foreigner. And then the local community will all receive that video. It's happened to me before. In fact, it happened the other week. My girlfriend went to the shop downstairs. Someone at the shop had a picture of me on her phone. It might have been her kid that took the picture, I'm not sure. Either way, when you get a picture taken of you or a video, it will go around. You will be plastered on the Chinese internet. If you decide to come here and teach, especially at a public school, there can be physical fights, of course, but it seems to be every time that I break up a fight, pretty much nothing gets done about it because no one cares. Then maybe we'll get a little bit of a telling off, something like that, but that's about it. Teachers here, at least in the public school that I'm in, don't seem to care at all. And in fact, they'll even take the students' word over yours. The lack of manners actually ties into my next point, which is driving. There's not much to say other than it's outright dangerous. People will just cut in front. They'll overtake when they've got very narrow spaces to do so. Absolutely zero patience on the road. Constantly beeping their horns. Just very sort of aggressive driving. People will honestly just leave the car, just walk out onto the road without looking. I know these things happen everywhere, but here it's really common. It is like comparing apples and oranges. There's no comparison. I've ridden motorbikes in Thailand for quite a while. I can honestly say that even though Thailand has the most traffic accidents per capita in the world, I feel safer on those roads than I do on these. In Thailand, they kind of just drive like idiots, but here they drive just, as I say, aggressively. It's really dangerous. There are quite a lot of accidents on the roads here. And in Thailand too, to be fair, but you know, that's not setting the bar very high, is it?
Before I continue, can I please ask if you wouldn't mind liking the video? That would be awesome.
With this next one, again, this is down to you, I guess. This whole facial recognition thing, everywhere. In order for me to just get into my community, well, the gate opens by scanning my face. And there seems to be a lot of security everywhere. For example, if you take the train or the subway, you know how like at the airport you put your bag through the scanner and all the rest of it? Well, that happens here as well, just for your commute to and from work sometimes. And then they have to go through the whole facade of like, waving you down with a wand to make sure you don't have anything harmful on you. There's like no violence here, so it's pretty unnecessary. My point is, if anyone was to doubt the fact that it is an authoritarian country, then I think they would just be kidding themselves, really. Sometimes just taking the subway, they will search your bag. If you're not much of a city goer, the overpopulation of the cities can be very daunting. In terms of land mass and the amount of people that live in China, it's not really overpopulated, but the cities are. Basically, it gets really crowded. I remember in the previous city I was in, you'd sometimes, when you're on your commute to work, you'd be stuffed into the subway, into the train. If you like your peace and quiet, it's maybe not a good idea to be here as well. A lot of people here are very noisy. And I'm not just talking about, talking loudly a bit. I'm talking about screaming. Screaming. You could be in a restaurant or something, and it could be a parent screaming to their child, or it could be the child screaming at the top of their voice and the parents doing nothing about it. If we talk about employment, a lot of employers here will ask for 3 to 4 months notice if you decide to leave. Now legally, and the law is on your side, you only have to give 1 month's notice. But all your soon-to-be ex-employer has to do then is dilly-dally, take their time with the visa transfer and giving you a letter of release. That whole concept to me is bizarre in its entirety. You need to be released from your employment by your employer in order to get to the next job. And while they may be legally obliged to do that, well, if they just take the time and your time runs out and they cancel your visa or whatever, you could be left without a visa. And unlike, for example, the UK, you can't just rock up without a visa and get put in a 4-star hotel. So if you and your employer aren't on good terms when you leave, and they often do get a bit sour if you want to leave before your contract is done, they can make it very difficult for you. It seems quite bizarre to me that you have to almost fight your way out if you want to leave before 4 months notice. If you need a letter of release, what does the opposite mean? If you need to be released, it means that you are held. So basically, yeah, employers have you by the you-know-whats. Some people just assume that the employee is the one in the wrong if they want to break the contract, because employers are perfect human beings. Well, these wonderful employers can leave a black mark on your record, which, when you come to apply for a new visa in the future, it can show up. You can even be refused a visa on those grounds. I guess it just depends on who's processing your visa application and how nice they're feeling on the day. I'll finish off with this one, and that is, you can't really trust the food, especially if you're buying it online or if it's in a restaurant. It's usually alright if it's in a shop. Often, the beef can be glued together with edible glue, quote unquote. That's quite common in the restaurants, like the buffets, I don't think I've ever had this, but there are things like fake rice. I bought beef twice online recently. It was a bad idea. I'm done. It is too late. I've been working hard for a change. Normally, I'm trying not to do that. So, yeah, have a good one, guys. I hope this has been informative in some way. You all have to consider the pros and cons of anywhere before you go and live there. So, if this has helped, feel free to let me know. Please do. Take it easy, guys. Goodbye.